while everybody was asleep, an enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat, and then went away. So when the plants came up and bore grain, then the weeds appeared as well. And the slaves of the householder came and said to him, Master, did you not sow good seed in the field? Where then did these weeds come from? He answered, An enemy has done this. The slave said to him, Did you want us to go and gather them? But he replied, No. For in gathering the weeds, you uproot the wheat along with them. Let both of them grow together until harvest. And at harvest time, I will tell the reapers, Collect the weeds first, lie them in bundles to be burned, or gather the wheat into my barn. Then he left the crowds and went into the house. And his disciples approached him, saying, Explain to us the parable of the weeds of the field. He answered, The one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. The weeds are the children of the evil one. And the enemy who sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are angels. Just as the weeds are collected and burned up with fire, so will it be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send his angels, and they will collect out of his kingdom all causes of sin and all evildoers, and they will throw them into the furnace of fire, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Let anyone with ears listen. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. I enjoy reading. I read for work, but I also read for fun. For my fun reading, I like to read fantasy adventure stuff. Not so much the sci-fi futuristic things, but I really enjoy is the old swords and sorcerers stuff, from Tolkien's Lord of the Rings to Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. I pretty much know how the story is going to end each time. The hero will win out, the bad guy will be defeated in the end. The adventure is in how we get there. I think that's why I both love and hate George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire. If you're not familiar with the story or the HBO series of it, it's not for the faint of heart. It's violent, for sure. But why it's so aggravating is that George R.R. Martin doesn't do what I expect. He does a great job of telling a story with characters that I grow to care about, and then he kills them. He kills them off. That's not how it's supposed to go. You know, the hero is supposed to live through everything that happens and be rewarded with our respect and admiration. Instead, Martin has plot lines that seem the very opposite. Good guys don't get the honor they deserve, and the bad guys seem to get all the goodies. Which brings us to today. In that sense, you could say that the Bible's version of A Song of Ice and Fire, where what we expect doesn't happen, is the story of Jacob. Now, Jacob is a fugitive in this week's text, but not the kind of fugitive for which anyone can feel any sympathy. He's a man on the run, not because of what others have done to him unjustly, but really because of the nasty things that he's done to other people. And he owes his life to his mother twice, the day she brought him into the world alongside his twin brother Esau, and then the day she saved him from being strung up by Esau. You see, in his early life, Jacob is a schemer and a crook, and his seedy adventures would make a good soap opera. Jacob survives by being cunning, all right, but also because he never seems to get what he deserves. Jacob always seems to get more. He cheats his lame-brained brother out of his birthright, and he gets away with it. He not only gets away with it, once his crime becomes public, both of his parents cover up for him. Jacob to go back to their ancestral homeland to find the bride, really while Esau cools off of that. And that's where this story today starts. Jacob is on the land. He's out between a place where he is no longer welcome and a place that he has never been. He's guilty, defenseless, and scared. At this point, he hasn't got a friend in the world. He finds himself out in the hill country north of Beersheba. Worn out, frazzled, he lies down under the night sky with nothing but a rock for a pillow. It's what happens next that even George R. Martin would never have written. Jacob dreams a dream. Now Jacob, with his defenses down and his subconscious running the show, in any good novel or story with a moral, you would expect that he would have slept the sleep of the guilty, complete with nightmarish visions of the father he had deceived and the brother he had betrayed, right? Getting what he deserved, you know? Think again. Because the story says, Jacob dreamed a dream that nearly brings tears to your eyes with its beauty and wonder. Jacob dreams a dream of a stairway that reaches all the way to heaven. Angels are ascending and descending on this stairway, doing God's work. And right there beside Jacob is God himself. And he's speaking to Jacob. Not words of reproach and accusation, words of comfort and blessing. God says, the land on which you lie, I will give to you and to your offspring. And your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth. And all the families of the earth shall be blessed through you and your offspring. Know that I am with you, and I will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land. For I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. God comes to Jacob when he least expects it and blesses him, in spite of Jacob's nature. God meets Jacob just as he is, right where he is, and says he is going to give Jacob, the biggest crook in them their hearts, blessings beyond imagination, more land, family, and honor than he could ever imagine. And he even reassures Jacob, saying that he will stick with him until every last part of the promise is kept. Now, according to the formula of one of those novels I wrote, I would have expected God to have something a little more just in mind for Jacob. A taste of divine wrath, you know, at least a good old chewing out for starters. I mean, come on, really? Well, what Jacob got was this unbelievably beautiful dream, and the God who went with it. Now, it would take a while for everything to play itself out, and for Jacob to become the great father of Israel, as was promised. But at this point in his life, it didn't take long for Jacob's scheming nature to come back out. When he wakes up, he builds a little monument in honor of the place and calls it Bethel, House of God. A beautiful gesture, I'll give you that. But then, Jacob makes a vow to God. A vow that shows Jacob's transformation was in progress, right? Jacob says, if God will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and clothing to wear, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then the Lord shall be my God, and this stone which I have set up for a pillar shall be God's house. And of all that you give me, I will surely give a tenth back to you. Did you hear that? Jacob responds to God's completely unconditional completely conditional promise of his own. If you will give me what I want, God, then I will be your man. In response to this incredible blessing of God, all Jacob can think of saying is, show me the money, eh? I mean, do you believe this guy? God, out of the unbelievable goodness of his heart, gives Jacob love and blessing instead of holy hell, and Jacob, demonstrating that he hasn't learned a blessed thing yet, says in response, prove it. Still looking for that great good guys always win moral in this story? Forget about it. There just isn't one. You see, the Bible isn't about simplistic moralistic lessons. It's about God and who God is. It's about the goodness and the faithfulness of God. Not us. It's the remarkable tale of our God who insisted on sticking with people the likes of Jacob and his kin through all of their manipulations and lack of trust, through all the crooked paths they would insist on taking to get wherever they got. And I ask you, did they ever truly appreciate it? I mean, take Jacob. Did he ever come to his senses and finally express remorse for having done all these things he ever did? Did he really come to appreciate the kind of generosity and goodness that he was being shown by God? I guess that is the way of humanity. Just as I wonder whether people like you and me have ever fully appreciated what God has been doing for us. Going with us every step of the way, promising never to leave us until all heaven is ours too. The message of the gospel is that is precisely what God has been doing all along. What he did most clearly in Jesus of Nazareth, what he's been doing ever since. For a world, for a church, for a people like you and me. For people who often cannot think of much better to say in response than show me, prove it. Not the staggering imagination. So how did Jacob finally respond to the one who gave him everything? Was his life changed by this encounter with grace? Well, read the story. What about you and me? What will you and I do in response to God's amazing grace? What can we do? What should we do? How will we respond to this God who doesn't give us what we deserve, but instead meets us right where we are? Just as we are. He doesn't say, if you straighten up and fly right, then I will love you. He meets us right where we are. Pursuing us with grace, our grace. The only thing that is certain is that the one who meets us at Bethel, the house of God, will continue to do what God always does, which is to bless us in ways we can't begin to imagine or understand, often precisely when we most need it. To give us everything we have never and could never deserve. This is what the Bible means by grace. Because in the Bible, it's not anything about us and our decisions that makes God stick with us. It's something about God. God will be who God will be. Thanks be to God. So come now. For this God who continues to walk with you pursuit.